Do you ever feel a subtle, or perhaps not so subtle, sense of being confined, not by physical walls, but by something within? A restlessness, a feeling that true peace, true freedom is always just out of reach, no matter how much your outer world shifts. This quiet yearning for something more, for an unbound spirit, is a deeply human experience. We chase external goals, accomplishments, and possessions, believing they hold the key to unlocking this inner freedom. Yet often, the more we grasp, the tighter the invisible chains seem to become. It's a paradox many of us live, a cycle of seeking and seldom finding lasting contentment. What if the map we've been using is misleading? Today, we explore a different map, an ancient path offered by one of history's wisest minds, the Buddha. Not as a religion to adopt, but as a profound psychological insight into the nature of our minds, and a practical guide to cultivating genuine, unshakable inner freedom. A path that begins by looking not outward, but inward. The Buddha taught that the source of our suffering, and conversely, the source of our freedom, lies within our own minds. It's not about what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens. This is a revolutionary idea, suggesting that the power to be free is already and always has been within our grasp. So what is this inner freedom we seek? It's not about a life devoid of challenges or difficulties. Instead, it's the ability to navigate these challenges with a sense of inner spaciousness, calm, and resilience. It's freedom from the tyranny of our own reactive thoughts and turbulent emotions. The first step on this path is understanding what binds us. The Buddha spoke of chains, not physical but mental. These are our ingrained patterns of clinging, aversion, and misunderstanding the true nature of reality. They are subtle, yet incredibly powerful in shaping our experience of life. One of the strongest chains is attachment. We attach our happiness to outcomes, to people, to possessions, to ideas of how things should be. When reality doesn't match our attachments, we suffer. We feel frustrated, disappointed, or even devastated. This clinging is a primary source of our inner confinement. Consider a moment you felt deep frustration. Was it because an event itself was inherently unbearable, or because it clashed fiercely with a deeply held expectation or desire? The Buddha invites us to examine this gap between reality and our cherished attachments as a key to understanding our unease. The opposite of attachment, aversion, is another powerful chain. We push away unpleasant experiences, resist difficult emotions, and try to avoid pain at all costs. This constant resistance creates tension and prevents us from finding peace with life as it truly is, with all its inevitable ups and downs. True freedom isn't found in a world where nothing unpleasant ever happens. It's found in our ability to meet all experiences, pleasant or unpleasant, with a degree of equanimity and non-resistance. This doesn't mean passivity, but an acceptance of what is before wisely choosing how to act. Another chain is ignorance, or rather, a misunderstanding of reality. Specifically, the Buddha pointed to the misunderstanding of impermanence. We tend to believe things are solid, permanent, and unchanging. Yet everything, our thoughts, emotions, bodies, relationships, the world itself, is in constant flux. When we resist this fundamental truth of impermanence, we suffer. We try to hold on to joy, fearing its departure. We try to banish sorrow, surprised by its arrival. Embracing impermanence, however, allows us to appreciate the present moment more fully and to let go with greater ease. So, how do we begin to loosen these chains? The path Buddha illuminated is one of inner cultivation. It involves training the mind, much like an athlete trains the body. The primary tool for this training is often referred to as mindfulness. Mindfulness, in its simplest form, is paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts, your feelings, your bodily sensations, and your surroundings with a gentle, open curiosity. Not trying to change anything, just noticing. Imagine your mind is like a vast sky. Thoughts and emotions are like clouds passing through. Sometimes the sky is clear, sometimes it's stormy. Mindfulness allows us to recognize that we are the sky, not the clouds. We can observe the weather of our minds without being swept away by it. When a difficult thought or emotion arises, perhaps anxiety, anger, or sadness, the mindful approach is not to suppress it, nor to get lost in it. Instead, you acknowledge its presence. Ah, there is anxiety. This simple act of naming and observing creates a little space. In that space, freedom begins to dawn. You realize you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes the thoughts. This distinction is profoundly liberating. Thoughts lose their power to control you when you see them for what they are: fleeting mental events. Mindfulness can be practiced formally, like in meditation, by focusing on your breath. Each inhale, each exhale becomes an anchor to the present moment. When the mind wanders, and it will, you gently guide it back to the breath, again and again, with kindness. But mindfulness is not just for the meditation cushion. You can bring this quality of attention to any daily activity: washing dishes, walking, listening to someone speak. Each moment becomes an opportunity to be present, to wake up to your life as it unfolds. As you cultivate mindfulness, you'll start to notice the subtle ways attachment and aversion operate in your daily life. You'll see how quickly you grasp at pleasure and push away discomfort. This seeing, without judgment, is the beginning of loosening their grip. This leads us to the principle of non-attachment, or letting go. This doesn't mean indifference or detachment from life in a cold way. It means holding our experiences, our relationships, and our desires lightly, with an open hand rather than a clenched fist. Non-attachment is rooted in the wisdom of impermanence. If everything is constantly changing, then clinging to things as if they were permanent is a recipe for suffering. Letting go aligns us with the natural flow of life, like a leaf surrendering to the river's current. Think of a cherished memory. You can enjoy it without needing to recreate it exactly. Think of a future goal. You can work towards it without your entire happiness depending on achieving it. This is the balance of engagement and non-attachment. Freedom comes when we realize our well-being is not solely dependent on external conditions. We can find an inner ground of peace even amidst change and uncertainty. This is not about suppressing desires, but about not being enslaved by them. This letting go also applies to our self-image. We often cling to rigid ideas of who we are. I am an anxious person. I am a failure. I am always strong. These labels limit us. The Buddha taught that even the sense of a fixed, permanent self is an illusion to be seen through. This concept, anatta or no self, doesn't mean you don't exist. It means you are not a static, unchanging entity. You are a dynamic process, a flowing river of thoughts, feelings, sensations, and experiences, constantly changing. Seeing this brings immense freedom from self-criticism and limiting beliefs. When you are less identified with a fixed self, you become less defensive, more open, more adaptable. Criticism stings less. Praise inflates less. You find a truer, more resilient center that is not dependent on external validation or self-judgment. Another vital element on this path to inner freedom is understanding the nature of suffering, or dukkha, as the Buddha termed it. This isn't just about gross physical pain, but the subtle dissatisfaction, unease, and stress that often pervades our lives. The Buddha identified the root of this dukkha as tanha, thirst, craving, or clinging. It's the relentless desire for things to be different than they are, wanting pleasurable experiences to last, wanting unpleasant experiences to vanish, wanting to be someone or somewhere else. This craving creates a constant tension between what is and what we want. Freedom arises when this tension is relaxed, not by getting everything we want, which is impossible, but by transforming the wanting itself, by understanding its nature and its effects on our peace of mind. When we see clearly how our own craving mind creates our suffering, we begin to develop a powerful motivation to change that inner landscape. This is not about self-blame, but self-awareness leading to empowerment. The keys to our own cages are, in fact, in our own hands. This understanding paves the way for wisdom, prajna, seeing things as they truly are, free from our projections, biases, and conditioned responses. Wisdom is not just intellectual knowledge. It's a deep, experiential insight that transforms our perspective. Wisdom involves recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. Our actions, thoughts, and words have ripple effects. This understanding fosters a sense of responsibility and care, not just for ourselves, but for others and the world around us. It also involves understanding the law of cause and effect, or karma, not as a system of reward and punishment from an external judge, but as a natural principle. Skillful actions rooted in wisdom and compassion lead to happiness and freedom, while unskillful actions lead to suffering. This wisdom isn't acquired overnight. It's cultivated through consistent practice, through mindfulness, reflection, and a willingness to question our own assumptions about ourselves and the world. It's a journey of continual learning and unfolding. Alongside wisdom, the path to inner freedom emphasizes the cultivation of compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta. These qualities are not just nice sentiments. They are powerful antidotes to the self-centeredness that fuels much of our suffering. Compassion is the ability to feel with others in their suffering, and the desire to alleviate it. It begins with self-compassion, treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a dear friend when we make mistakes or feel inadequate. So often, we are our own harshest critics. Self-compassion allows us to break free from the inner chains of self-judgment and perfectionism, creating space for healing and growth. It is a profound act of self-liberation. Loving kindness, or metta, is an active wish for the happiness and well-being of ourselves and all beings, without exception. It's a warmth, a friendliness that we can cultivate and extend, dissolving feelings of isolation and resentment. Practicing metta can involve silently repeating phrases like, "May I be happy," "May I be peaceful," "May you be happy," "May all beings be happy." This practice softens the heart and opens us to a deeper sense of connection. When we cultivate compassion and loving kindness, our focus shifts from our own narrow concerns to a broader perspective. This naturally reduces anxiety and dissatisfaction, as our sense of self expands to include others. We find freedom in connection, not just from our own burdens. The Buddha often spoke of the middle way, a path that avoids extremes, not the extreme of harsh asceticism, nor the extreme of sensual indulgence. This applies to our mental and emotional lives too, avoiding extreme reactions, extreme judgments. Inner freedom is found in this middle path of moderation, balance, and equanimity. It's about finding that calm center even when life pulls us in different directions. It's not about being passionless, but about not being consumed by our passions. So this path, as laid out by the Buddha, isn't a quick fix. It's a gradual unfolding, a steady cultivation of awareness, wisdom, and compassion. Each small step, each moment of mindfulness, each act of letting go, contributes to a greater sense of inner liberty. Let's consider how these principles translate into our daily lives. How can you walk this path starting today, right now? It begins with simple shifts in perspective and small, conscious actions. One practical step: when you feel overwhelmed by a strong emotion, try to pause before reacting. Take 3 conscious breaths. This small gap can be the difference between being a prisoner of your emotion and choosing a wiser response. Another practice: notice your attachments. What are you clinging to tightly? Your ideas, your possessions, your expectations of others. Simply notice without judgment. Awareness itself begins to loosen the grip. Try to observe your thoughts as if they were clouds drifting by. Don't engage with everyone. Don't believe everyone, especially the negative, self-critical ones. Remember, you are the sky, not the clouds. Practice gratitude for small things. This shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's present. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to the craving mind and a direct path to appreciating the abundance already in your life. When faced with a difficult person or situation, try to cultivate a sliver of compassion. Remember that everyone is fighting their own battles, often driven by their own suffering and misunderstandings. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it can free you from bitterness. Reflect on impermanence. When you are experiencing joy, savor it fully, knowing it will change. When you are experiencing sorrow, meet it with kindness, knowing it too will pass. This acceptance reduces both desperate clinging and fearful aversion. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to let go of this struggle just for a moment? Sometimes, simply posing the question can create a shift. Freedom is often a release, a surrender, not an acquisition. Remember that true inner freedom is not about achieving a perfect state of bliss where nothing ever bothers you. It's about developing the inner resources to meet life, in all its complexity, with greater wisdom, calm, and an open heart. This path of inner freedom, as illuminated by the Buddha, is a journey, not a destination. There will be moments of clarity and moments of confusion. Be patient and compassionate with yourself throughout this process. The freedom spoken of is freedom from the dictates of your conditioned mind, your habitual reactions, your limiting beliefs. It's freedom to choose your response, to live more authentically, to experience deeper peace. It's the freedom to be present with what is, rather than constantly wishing things were different. In this presence, there is a profound sense of okayness, a deep well of contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. This path requires courage, the courage to look within, to face uncomfortable truths about our own minds, and to commit to the gradual work of transformation. But the reward is immeasurable, a freedom that no one can take away from you. Each moment you choose awareness over reactivity, compassion over judgment, letting go over clinging, you are walking this path. You are strengthening your capacity for inner freedom. These are not grand gestures, but small, consistent shifts. The teachings of the Buddha are like a finger pointing to the moon. Don't get stuck on the finger. Look at the moon. The moon is your own potential for liberation, your own innate wisdom waiting to be uncovered. This inner freedom allows you to engage with the world more fully, more joyfully, and more effectively. When you are not burdened by inner turmoil, you have more energy and clarity to contribute positively to the lives of others. It's a journey of unwinding the knots within, of gently releasing the self-imposed limitations that keep us feeling small or stuck. Imagine the lightness, the spaciousness that comes with this inner untangling. This path isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unbecoming everything that isn't truly you, allowing your natural state of clarity, peace, and compassion to emerge. It's a return to your inherent wholeness. The Buddha's wisdom offers a profound invitation to stop seeking peace and freedom solely in the external world and to begin the courageous journey of cultivating it within. This is where true, lasting liberation is found. So the question isn't whether freedom is possible. The wisdom traditions assure us it is. The question is, are you willing to walk the path, to undertake the inner work moment by moment, breath by breath? Remember, this freedom is not a distant, lofty goal for a select few. It is the inherent potential within every human heart, waiting to be awakened. The path is open to anyone who chooses to walk it with sincerity and persistence. As you walk this path, you may find that the you who started the journey is not the you who continues. You may find yourself becoming lighter, more spacious, more deeply connected to the quiet joy of being. The essence of this journey, the core of this freedom, is the profound realization that peace is not something you find out there. Peace is what you are, beneath the turbulence of the conditioned mind. It is your natural state. Therefore, the path to inner freedom is ultimately a path back to yourself, your truest, most authentic, and most liberated self. It is a homecoming. May you walk this path with courage, with patience, and with a deep sense of kindness towards yourself. May you discover the boundless freedom that resides within your own heart and mind, a sanctuary always available to you. True inner freedom is not an escape from life, but a deeper engagement with it from a place of profound peace and wisdom. The path is here. The choice to walk it is yours, and the journey itself is part of the liberation.